other panelist has just arrived. Bree, you can come on in. Just give your name, introduction in the beginning, name, year, major.
So my name is Bree. I'm a graduating senior, and my major is biomedical global health.
That's a major?
Yes. Oh, I created it. I created my major through the individual studies program, and I did it because I wanted to basically just biology courses weren't cutting it for me, and then just public health science courses weren't cutting it for me. I wanted to incorporate medicine with culture, and so by creating that major, I was able to take classes that I actually was interested in, along with my pre-med classes.
Nice.
Interesting.
So our next question is, how did you overcome adversity with pre-med classes?
Right, still a struggle, honestly.
And I will also add this to the question, because I received this question. How do you make it through seeing your other friends move on to other pre-med classes, and if you failed the class and had to repeat it, how do you overcome that stress as well? So if you have that experience, please if you feel comfortable enough to talk about it.
I've actually never failed a course, but getting a C is basically failing, in my opinion.
Yeah, same.
But I definitely agree that going to GSS and forming your own study groups, and also reaching out to your TAs or even going to office hours is a pretty big step in getting more information and kind of clearing your understandings. But in terms of failing, I don't really know, but it's also on the other hand, seeing your friends fail is also kind of stressful because you start a class together but you're not really finishing it in the way you plan to, which is fine. But there's a certain level of understanding there and growth coming from your friends, because they have to learn whether or not you're with them or not.
So I've gone through that a lot. I've never failed a class either, but I've gotten a C or two.
Yeah.
And so once again, I was studying with all my life sciences friends. We always plan to take our classes together, and I wasn't good at organic chemistry 1 and 2, and so my friends were Michael was really good at it. So after each exam, we would study together, and he would do much better. My other friends would get really good grades, and I would be am I even gonna pass this class? So it'd be really stressful to recover from each of those bad grades, and recover from the class and move on to the next class. And then sometimes I would even doubt should I even be pre-med? People like Michael should be pre-med, and Michael would do really well, if I'm being honest. But what Michael also did for me as a friend, he would motivate me. He said, if you really want to get there, you can get there. And all medical school they want to see growth in your grades, as long as it's over time.
Progression.
And finally, this past semester, I did well. After trying so hard, I got an A in a chemistry class for the first time. But definitely with the help of my friends, motivating me.
Secured it back.
I actually have a quote, but my phone dropped. That's what made it good.
Quotes. I have.
No. It's it just made me think of that question though.
2 quotes. First quote. Don't compare yourself to anyone other than.
Yes.
Only ever compare yourself to yesterday's version of yourself.
That was it.
So always strive to be a better version of yourself. So that's I'd say probably the #1 piece of advice for every pre-med student, because you're gonna start out the journey with a large group of people. Honestly, by the end, it's gonna be you and a few other people. There are gonna be so many people who have dropped off.
Yeah.
You may not even you may start out with people but end later than them. You might be, you might have failed a class and they've moved on, but it's important to not compare yourself to other people. It's important not to compare yourself to the kid who's getting the A when you got a B.
And it's hard because usually your friends are pre-med students.
Exactly. So. It's hard to do that, but it's important not to compare yourself, because at the end of the day, medical school is looking at you holistically and not comparing you necessarily to the next person. And everyone has their own path to take. Mm-hmm. So, you will end up at the same goal if you continue striving. And so that leads to the second quote: keep keeping on until you get to where you want to be. So despite all the adversities that you're gonna face in undergrad, in medical school, if this is, you have to realize, is this something that you really want? And if it is, don't be discouraged by whatever obstacles come your way. Just keeping on, and eventually you will get there.
Yeah.
And she got her A in biochemistry, and honestly, like, that's amazing. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I found myself.
Sometimes, you can go.
Yeah. So it says, don't compare your life to others. There's no comparison between the sun and the moon. They shine when it's their time.
I like that. It's a little
That
more
made me
artsy.
think, in the past, I used to always compare myself to my friends, but I finally noticed I was comparing my weaknesses to their strengths.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to, that's what people like fail to realize. Like what you're good at is not what other people are good at, and what you're bad at is probably what other people are good at. So you just really cannot compare yourself to two different races. Like,
That's good, yeah.
That's true.
I definitely recommend doing a strength quest like test and find out what like your like strengths are. So.
Sometimes we're not always fortunate to have, you know, positive people around us to motivate us. Like you two had each other. The pre-med community has a negative stigma for being cutthroat. What ways have you all experienced that type of environment, negative environment, and how did you all handle it?
I don't even know where to start.
I mean, like, it's happened before, right? Like, people, like, giving, like when you're studying with people like hiding their resources and, like, their index cards or their study guides because they want to do better than everybody else. I mean, in a lot of our classes, they are based on curves. And even if they're not based on curves, it's just, like, if you want to, like, get a high grade in the class, like, you might just hide your resources, or you might, like, want other people to, like, do worse than you so you can, like, stand out. And so that's, like, really unfortunate when people do that.
I feel like I haven't really like experienced that here. In most of my classes, it's usually like there's always that one nice person that makes a Google Doc for like for the exam and puts all the information, and everyone's able to like put different information and answer different questions that's able to like help all of us on the exam. So I haven't really experienced the competitiveness of pre-med students. And like I have a bunch of pre-med friends, and we usually all study together, and we all like we meet the night before the exam. We all come together and we all like just go over different concepts and we help each other. So for me, I feel like the pre-med students here are really nice.
The way I see it is like you always want to surround yourself with good people, good genuine people, people who are like-minded and have the same goals as you, never people who are not what you want to be, I guess is what I'd say. And then the way I see it with the whole cutthroat thing is that everyone's like on the same level, I guess. Someone like the kid who's cutthroat, like their actions never put you down. It's like their actions may put them above you. So it's like everyone's on the same playing field, and maybe they have resources that put them above you, but their resources can never put you down.
Exactly.
So you can never make the excuse that I got a B and he got an A because he had resources that he didn't share with me. Because at the end of the day, I mean, your journey is different from his, and so you're on your own path, so it's up to you to make yourself get that A. So the way I see it is like surround yourself with good people and just like work your hardest. I mean, like there are going to be those people who are cutthroat and don't share like whatever it is that they have.
Or they might not want to study with you. Like I've seen a little bit like cold shoulders and stuff, but nothing like too serious.
But at the end of the day, like it's up to you to put in the work for yourself. And just remember that like, you know, it's not like you're being put down. You still have your like fair chance to get that A, but they have an advantage.
I was going to say not only like, I know we're focusing on the student aspect, but I think there's going to be aspects of like, I had never experienced it, but I know there's a lot of people that have experience in regards to counselors, having the counselors say that, hey, you're not going to make it, or this is not the right 4-year plan for you, or consider doing a post-bac, or consider taking a time away from it and focusing on a new major, or even dropping your own major because you're just not handling it academically. I think you should continue to push forward and know yourself and know if you want to get it, you can. Maybe a different direction to what you wanted to have, but you will still make it there.
I think it's important to, if possible, like try to find a group of people or a friend or someone who generally cares about you and who use your success as their success.
Yeah, definitely.
Finding someone who really is genuinely happy when you succeed and vice versa. Because I've seen myself that people will, like they talk about academically, that definitely takes place. People will hide things from you or not want to share, not want to help you out. People will try to take things from you and for their resume to try to build themselves up. because they think that's going to help them and get them into medical school. But at the end of the day, there's 40-something thousand people applying to medical school every year. The person next to you is not going to be the reason you don't get in.
Yeah.
So it's important to stay yourself and be that kind person helping others out, because at the end of the day, you want to be as a doctor, you want to be someone who cares about others and wants others to do well, and is empathetic and caring. So you don't want to start that habit early on of being competitive and trying to cut others out of grades or positions or things like that.
It's very true.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, being pre-med is not all about academics. Medical schools want to make sure that we are well-rounded. So what extracurricular activities are you all involved with? Summer research, summer programs that you've all done in the past, and how did you get to get the opportunity?
For me, I was the president of Pre-Med Society on this campus, and it's just basically a organization where like pre-med students come together and they just the E-Boy brings different speakers, different doctors and professors on campus, and they just talk about their experience and how they became a doctor and different stuff like that. And I just came across it freshman year at the first look fair, and I just thought it would be a really cool way for me to get engaged in the pre-med community and just learn more about different specialties in medicine. So I ran for E-Boy position and I got to be the president, so that's really cool. And I also did a really cool program this past summer called SHPEP. I did it at Howard.
Used to be called SMDEP.
Yeah, and I did it at Howard University, and it was just a really good program. Like it's an academic enrichment program, so I was able to take biochemistry. I was able to take a public health course. I also took I forgot what that class was, but I took English and different classes like that. But it also gave me an opportunity to do research at the Howard Hospital, and I was able to also do community service and research and different stuff like that. So it was really, yeah, and I also got to shadow doctors, so it was a really good opportunity for me to get clinical experience, volunteer experience, and things like that.
Really immersing you in the field.
Yeah.
I think for myself, I've got a lot of extracurricular activities from hearing my friends talk about it in class. Like Akeem got me introduced into SMDP, which is now called SHP. I also did it. I did it at UVA. I also did the UMD ADAPT program on campus, which is a research program over the summer. I think like a good majority of us here were in the program too. But like not only you can get information from your counselors, but from like also like pre-med students, you can also get it from people you never even expected from. I will have to admit, like we used to say, your network is your net worth. Yes, it's very true. Like I got my first guest internship ever my freshman year on a school bus. I was on my little sister's school bus, and we went on a field trip. And the parent who I was with, chaperoning with us, he has a friend. I was telling him about like my aspirations. I know I'm becoming a dermatologist. This is my freshman year, just pouring my whole heart out to this man. Turns out his best friend is a dermatologist. So I ended up doing an internship with her, and she's been my mentor ever since. So don't feel free, you never know. It doesn't have to be a person who's a doctor or someone who's a counselor. Just share your aspirations with somebody you never know who they might connect you with, because that was like the best thing that's ever happened to me.
I would definitely say still find yourself doing stuff that you enjoy. I'm on a dance team. I feel like that should definitely help my application.
What kind of dance team?
It's an African Caribbean dance team.
Oh, cool.
Diaspora.
She always wanted to go to a Caribbean party.
Yes, I do. Make me.
But that along with like research and like being at ULA, just doing things around campus, like staying active, like literally just apply to everything, like
Being you are like a TA.
like a TA, yeah, basically. It will help you out. And with pre-med, like obviously like there's gonna be times where like you think school is all that's there, like classes and stuff, which is very important. School's like extremely important, but if you can't find yourself, you're still a college student, you still need to enjoy your time here. So still like take the opportunities. Like in Maryland, we have like almost any and every opportunity to do things that we like really love. So
it's so many things and so many organizations and clubs to get involved in on campus. So if you have that at your school, definitely go out and try to find your different areas of interest and get involved with that for sure. My next question that I have, and then I have two more questions, one more question after this one. What are your tips on getting shadowing opportunities? I know you talked about you being on the bus and you secured the bag and got that dermatologist, but what are some ways that you all got in the shadowing opportunity?
Well, for me, my personal story is I have a family type of network. My dad is a physician, so if you have like family members who are in medicine, like doesn't have to be a doctor, it could be like a nurse practitioner, like not even someone who's like directly health personnel, like maybe a health administrator. Anybody in the medical field, I think, especially your family members who care about your success, you should reach out to them for opportunities for shadowing internships. Like my dad got me a shadowing internship with his good friend who works upstairs from him, and she's an OBGYN, which is what I want to do. So just utilize your parents and you utilize your aunts and uncles and cousins, and yeah.
I want to add to that. Have any of you all experienced after shadowing that maybe you had a change of heart, or kind of felt like this specialty isn't for me, or maybe medicine isn't for me, or questioned it a little bit?
Oh, I have.
Yeah.
So I was working as a research assistant in a neurology lab. It was like a sleep lab. So yeah, definitely won't be doing that. But yeah, at least I got the experience.
Right.
So yeah, as long as it's a purpose for everything. So like, if I would have never did that, like who knows? I could have been walking around saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be a neurologist," not even knowing what it's about.
That's what shadowing is all about: getting in the field and seeing whether or not it's really for you or not, so you can figure out what you want to do exactly. Because you don't want to spend 10, 12 years going through becoming a doctor, and then come to find when you become a doctor you don't want to do it. You're like, oh, I have a change of heart. So that's why get out there and shadow.
And also, I think it's important to shadow with different fields, because when you become a doctor and it's matching day, you may not even like get matched with the profession that you always wanted. So you should actually keep your options open.
Yep, that's very true.
Not even that, like also you can't bounce around in fields once you become board certified. Like whatever your field is, that's what you're staying in. So just make sure that's the field that you want to get your degree in.
And I think the moral of this is just to be open to all forms of fields in the medical field. Because like I say, you never know. You can say you want to be a cardiovasc, and next thing you know, you could be doing OBGYN. Like, you just never know. And I think that's something that I think my counselor even told me on your application when you're what's called the personal statement, to make sure you're open. Like, yes, you have this idea of what you want to do, but they want you to be open to all kinds of fields, because you never know what clinicals and like rotations like you will be exposed to, and that could change your total mindset of what you want to be.
So my last question, how have you all got letters of recommendation from maybe an advisor or a professor for a program, internship, or for medical school?
For me, I've gotten a recommendation letter from my UNIB teacher, and that's just because like she's like super nice. Like I go out to lunch with her every semester. So yeah, we go out to lunch every Jerry. Yeah, we go out to lunch every semester. So like she basically gets to keep up with my life every semester. I tell her how I'm doing or what I'm struggling with, and like she basically gets to keep up with me, and so we keep a strong relationship since my freshman year.
How did you start that relationship?
She just after the class finished, she just told me that like she told the whole class basically that like we could have lunch with her every semester, and because she likes to keep up with her students.
All right, so what if the professor isn't that friendly? Because some of these professors, you do well in their classes, but they're not that approachable. So how do you approach them? Maybe if you're not that, type A personality, really outgoing, want to go out to approach the professor. So how do you go about that?
I think it's important to go to office hours or some type of setting where it's more of an intimate relationship. Because even if you do well in the class and you never go into office hours, you never had a one-on-one opportunity to talk with your professor, the only thing they're going to be able to say about you is that you got an A in the class. So I think it's important to have opportunities to have a one-on-one relationship where you can talk to them, tell them about how you've been studying, how you've been working hard, some other things about you that they might want to know or might want to put in a recommendation letter. And if you build that relationship over time and really foster it, then they would be able to write a good recommendation letter for you. And from my experience, when you have that relationship, they're more willing to write that letter.
I think also too, like not only going to office hours, but like another good way to peep your little head in through their little door is to like answer questions in class. Like for instance, like I noticed, yes, I did okay in this class, but he still knows I'm like Professor Singer in Manfis. Like I used to sit in the back because I had to travel from classes. I was always late. So either way, I was in the back. But even later or not, I was always asking questions in the back. That way he know who I am. So that way when I go to office hours, he has a good idea. Oh, hey, I know her. All right, okay, I can focus my attention more on her because I see her paying attention in class. Like, that's a good way to put your head in the door. That way they can get to know you in class. And once from there, you're good to go.
Yeah, I really think engagement is key. Me and Tiana, we were actually in our first bio course together.
Oh, Dr. Schaffner.
Yeah, Dr. Schaffner. And,
Love her.
and being engaged, like, I witnessed firsthand, I think I might have actually even learned it from Tiana, like, how engaged Tiana was. Like, Dr. Schaffner actually associated me with, like, Tiana. she reached her hand out and asked if I needed a recommendation, just because I was around an engaged group of people. Yeah, and then from that point on, that's how I knew I could get really started, like, talking to my professors.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think professors actually really enjoyed like stuff like that, because like I got a letter of recommendation from one of my professors like freshman year, Dr. Howard, and then
she's a sweetheart.
yeah. So like my letter of recommendation eventually turned into her actually taking me abroad.
India.
Yeah, I went to India. So
You went to India too.
Yeah, this past winter break.
oh my god,
It's a
Study abroad.
Study abroad.
yeah. But yeah.
That is a wrap. I want to thank you all for coming on. I hope we answered some of these questions and gave you guys a better insight of the pre-med experience here at the University of Maryland. Hopefully, maybe we can have a part 2. We never know. I really enjoyed this with you all. That's it. Does anyone have any last minute comments you want to say to the viewers?
Stay focused.
Don't
You got
give
it.
Don't be discouraged.
Exactly.
You ready?
It's your own race.
You hear them. If your first time coming to my YouTube channel, please subscribe. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.